Okay, it's been properly moved and second that that we schedule a workshop with residents, the city attorney, and fire chief with Mr. Terrence Bailey at a later date to be determined. For the motion, ready for the questions? You ready? Okay.
Could we give 30 days because, or can we give a time frame? Because if we don't, it's gonna die on the vine. So if we say 30 days or 45 days, that'll give us time frame for us to be able to do it, or whoever's gonna coordinate this, but if we don't.
I think since many have some things that we would like, that it would be best for many to coordinate this, so what they possibly will speak.
I just said we coordinate within the next 30 days.
Might as well just give a date now since we.
Or you can get together, because you want to check with the city attorney as well as the fire chief,
Yes,
so
sir.
I can coordinate it
Yes, sir.
based on that.
And your schedule.
I'll make myself available.
Thank you so much.
Any more readiness? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right. Record show the vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item 6, presentation by Economic Development 4B, their annual report.
So it doesn't fall off. We would need to make sure that we.
Good evening. My name is Marie Herndon. I'm president of Economic Development 4B here in the city of Prairie View. Some of you may be wondering, well, what in the world is economic development? Well, actually, that's creating wealth. Now, the Economic Development Corporation was formed to create wealth for cities and communities. And what Economic Development 4B does is to kind of guide the city along with, guide the corporation along with those efforts in creating that wealth. It's funded by you. You, the citizens, voted to be a part of the 367 or 80 some cities in the state of Texas who benefit from economic development funds, and those funds come from sales tax revenue. Every single time you purchase something, it has sales tax, you're funding economic development 4B. And what we do is try to enhance the city, improve your quality of life, bring in jobs, bring in businesses, sustain those businesses that are already here. This is your money. And by law, we are a legal entity. And by law, we are empowered to spend your money to help you. And that's what we do. So, you ready? He's loading, okay. Well, while that's loading, while the presentation is downloading on the computer, Economic Development 4B is here to enhance. We're not a financial institution. When you come up with an idea to help our community, help the city, improve the quality of life, we can't fund it. We can assist you, but we're not a financial institution that funds, will totally fund a project. We're in the process now of determining what would warrant a loan as opposed to what would warrant a grant. And our attorney was working on that. We're now working on getting another attorney since we no longer have that attorney. So the things that Economic Development 4B can do is we can purchase land, buildings, equipment, facilities, those kinds of things. You'll see that on the, you ready?
Hold on, Ms. Herndon. Mr. Johnson, are you going to go through this today as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go through this while that's downloading, and then have you come back up when it's ready. That way we use that same time. I know how to computer. So that's another one of the reasons why we're having to upgrade our.
But right now, we have a budget of approximately $1 million. And we did not spend, actually, we didn't try any grants or loans this past year because we wanted to make sure we were doing the right thing with your money. We are erring on the side of caution rather than just issuing money out, grants, loans, or whatever, and it's gone. It's not benefiting you, the city, anybody.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll have you come back up as it's ready.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson?
Okay, what we have here is the financial report for Economic Development B Corporation through the month of August. If you would, what was handed out to you, hope you got a copy of it, on page 1. Excuse me. It's okay. My bad. Page 1 and 2, page 1 shows the balance sheet for Economic Development B. To date, as far as cash is concerned, Economic Development B has a cash deposit of $781,171. It has a receivable from Odyssey Training Institute of $45,054, and that's in litigation. Am I right, Marie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that right there is the current amount. Now, what we do with Odyssey is every month that they don't make a payment, we accrue 1 month's interest on their outstanding debt. So this amount increases every month at the current time. The account receivable that you see there is the amount that the city owes to Economic Development B, and a check is being cut this month to satisfy the amount of receivable that's owed to Economic. This is the sales taxes. It just hasn't been transferred. It has to be transferred from the city to Economic Development B. So they'll see an amount of at least $163,816.20 transferred to them in the current month. So that 781 will be increased by that amount as far as cash goes.
And this is for what period?
Oh,
How is it just-
that's for the period since we didn't have a treasurer. It built up over time. It's about a 4 to 5 month period of time, but it will be paid this month.
And that's from general fund?
Right,
to,
exactly.
For the.
Right. Mhm. That's over in the general fund account. And if I have the financial, and on the financial for general fund, it does show that it owes the same amount to 4B. As far as liabilities go on page 2, Economic Development B has no debt. So that's why you see $0 for liabilities. It has no debt. So its equity section is the $991,501 as far as its equity goes. Page 3 is its financial through August. It's 11-month financial. To date, its revenue is $190,006 compared to a budget of $134,000. That's the same as the city as far as sales taxes with the city goes. It does have a favorable position also, so quite naturally Economic Development B would have a favorable position in pertaining to its revenue. As far as expenditures go, Economic Development B primarily has just maintained its operating expenditures. $11,000 for legal, $2,000 for payroll processing, and $13,000 for dues and subscriptions. The majority of that is that Marie, that's you paid $11,000 for that that community deal. I don't think she heard me, but the majority of that $13,000 was paid to the got it here. Was paid to the Quantity Environmental. That was a special project.
Oh, that was where they were, had to hire someone that was TCEQ certified to take a look at the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
gas station.
For the gas station,
that
that's
they had
right.
purchased and
Right,
turned over to the city.
Okay.
So that was that
Right.
environmental study.
Environmental study to
Still
do
waiting on
for
results.
the Sandra Bland Park, well, complex and what have you. Okay. And the other expenditure that they've incurred was for their contract staff. The ladies that you see here doing a lot of videoing, doing council meetings, and that stuff. Now, that column down there that says City Direct Business Incentive, that right there is a miscellaneous column that we primarily can code the different initiatives that Economic Development B can embark upon that are considered direct business initiatives for the city of Prairie. That's a category that's used throughout the state. It's very, it's not directly defined purposes, so you can do different types of initiatives here. That's where it's coded at.
Can we list, Mr. Johnson, can we list miscellaneous and parentheses behind that?
You really don't want to say this. The term itself yields that connotation. We try not to use miscellaneous if we can avoid it.
It sounds like a reserve account. So-
Well, no, it's not a reserve. These are actual expenditures.
Do we, so
But
would,
if they're not identified, they're not.
Well, yeah, they're identified because we have everything in there identified. When you do the report to the state, this is a line item on the state
Oh, okay.
for the
So
annual
they are
report.
identified.
Right. Mhm.
Okay.
And this purposely put here so Economic Development B can embark upon different types of initiatives that benefit the city. And that's what that's for. And so as you can see, they've only expended $51,000 of the $194,000 revenue that they've taken into consideration this year. We only have one more month to go. So it had a full budget. As you can see, the array of budgeting was throughout all the different initiatives that they could have embarked upon but did not do this current fiscal period. So what has happened here is that their reserve has built up. So that right there is basically their financial position as of August the 31st for this fiscal period. And Ms. Dickey, did you take half of the budget?
I did. I
Okay, did you-
handed that out.
Did you give me one copy?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, JJ. I thought you
Okay.
had one.
Yeah. No, I just need one copy.
I have an
One
extra.
copy. Okay. All right, what we have here is a proposed budget for Economic Development B. Sales taxes falls in line with the city's sales taxes as far as budgeting is concerned. And you see here, $231,100, which is an increase over the prior year. Same with the city of Prairie. Again, we gave reasons why we've been forecasting more sales taxes due to the fact that we have the additional housing, which should enable more citizens to purchase items here in the city. And we do anticipate some additional establishments in the city that do charge a sales tax. I see Ms. Brown shaking her head.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's the increase that you see there. And then the other items here, as you can see, they have budget an array of line items here. Again, it does show an executive director and what have you on there. In this here, at the very bottom, you see debt financing. Interest, $17,002, and principal of $16,100. What that is in this fiscal period, Economic Development B is contemplating acquiring an office building or constructing an office building. And they'll use debt financing to pay for it in this fiscal period, roughly $350,000. And I ran the debt financing numbers on 350 over basically 15 years, and that's the result that you'll pay out as far as your debt financing goes on that type of facility.
You said for office building?
Yes, sir.
So like renting out a space or actually trying to?
No, actually owning it. It's anticipated to tear down the trailer over here. That's right here on the campus here, and maybe construct something right there.
So in simple language, what you're saying is, instead of spending their cash, they'll take out a
Exactly.
loan and pay over time
Exactly.
other people's money.
Exactly. And that right there is a strategy of Economic Development B, because it has built up a reserve, and all lending institutions will be very favorable to you when you have cash reserves. Yes, sir.
So, because you just said about the debt financing, so the line item that says rent/building, is that supposed to be utilized for that same effort, or is right above?
Well, if you look at rent/building, it says zero. It's zero, it's just there, it's $0.
I mean, because I'm saying, because there's a budget put out for it, so I'm saying that hypothetically is supposed to go to the office building as well. 'Cause
No,
money was
if you
budgeted
look
out.
at, if you look at rent, there is no budget for rent, it's zero.
The last column is proposed.
Look at the last column. You were looking at prior year, the second column.
I was looking at the,
Look at where it says rent building, it's zero.
oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right, because they don't anticipate renting a space, because currently they're housed here at no cost in City Hall.
Okay, Councilman Rowland has a question.
Yes, sir.
My question, in this proposal and in this budget, is there, where, those are the, in your presentation, do you address that, Ms. Herndon?
Address what?
We're addressing the budget for the whole 2019 year, and if 4B is proposing that, do you have some additional information to what you have here, or no? About the building and about what you have in the budget? Are we gonna give you additional information?
I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, and I don't think, again, I don't think that there is a problem. I have the two questions. My first question is, if it is, and it would be a good idea, there would need to be a plan, and then not only Economic 4B would need the plan, City Council would need the plan, because we would have to vote on it after that commission or board voted on it to actually expend the money. And so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as so we can help support your effort and vision.
Yeah, we understand that.
And then the second thing is, do we have how much, like there was a line item, the capital outlay, what is that?
Capital outlay, that's if you get the building, you gotta buy furniture and other items to furnish the building, and that's what that's for.
What's the number, I don't know, and I don't know if it's a policy, but I know we've thrown it around a lot of times. What's the number for, Economic 4B, like the capital outlay? Like, for us to support that? Is there a number?
No. When you say, is there a number?
Like, so,
The budget will be the number.
right, so the process of Economic 4B, they get to build the building, they go for it, the board votes for it, comes to City Council, we vote for it. What's the next process? Is it all the money in here needed to facilitate that in this budget?
Yeah. What we have here is what we anticipate. If needs change,
Right.
then that has to, we go back and we revisit those needs. Since we do have reserve,
And we do.
if we have to go into reserve, then we do what we call an adjustment to the budget.
And that has to go back.
Right. Oh, it has to come, everything here has to come from council approval. This is their plan.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the reserve, so I guess the reserve for 4B.
Yeah, with the reserve is there.
Okay.
Right. Mhm. Yeah, all has to come through council. Yes, sir.
Councilman Jones.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we move on with our agenda.
Change it report yet. We were doing this.
Do we,
I'll give it without the projector. We have technical difficulties.
I got the connection not working, but something's not working right.
Would you like us to move it down in our agenda so that way you can present it to the presentation?
You can do that.
Do you have any physical copies of it?
No, I haven't. No, I can go to. I will count this down. That's physical copies of how
I see something she's on.
buildings. So we'll move down to further on the agenda until we get our technical difficulties resolved.
Okay,
Thank you for your patience.
no problem. Departmental reports, Ms. Dickey?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We were looking at the budget. Really, all I have, and we talked a lot about with Chief, and I don't know if he stepped out or not, because we may be able to get more information from him. But we talked about the AT&T First Responders Program. And what that does for us, it gives us tiers of individuals that need to be alerted in emergency situations. And AT&T has been here and done some presentations to the city for that AT&T program. And we would like to get an idea of who all was interested in maybe getting onto the AT&T program for first responders.
Yeah,
And-
let me help with that.
Yeah.
The primary, the 9/11 Commission, after what happened in New York and Pennsylvania and DC, one of the edicts that came out of the 9/11 Commission was too many people who needed to be in communication could not be. The phones were just jammed up, understandably, in such massive proportions being utilized. What this program, and AT&T was selected out of all the carriers, it's a federal program, they were selected to roll this out. And the first responder program is to help ensure that in those type of emergencies, the people who need to be in touch with each other, their phones rise to the top. So while all the mass communication is going and people can't make phone calls, the first responder program is to help make sure that does not happen to first responders. What we're working on in the city, and Chief and I were talking about it last week, is we just want to have a better understanding as to how the tiers work, because we want to make sure, of course, all of our people who need to know are at the level that they need to. We've got a lot of wonderful people who volunteer here. We want to have a better understanding as to what level to put them on, so when Chief puts out that call, if you will, that all of those who need to get it receive it. So that's the gist of it, to make sure. For example, from a councilmatic standpoint, the councilman and Chief, I don't totally recall, I know we had a lot of information. There's a setup where people who are not on AT&T can still receive a certain amount of information, or do they have to be on AT&T?
You're going to have to be on FirstNet as well. You have to be a part of FirstNet to receive any first or secondary.
And that's the FirstNet AT&T thing? It's
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
same thing, okay. Okay, so we want to really put that information out, because we want to make sure all of our people who help us help other people are somehow, again, we're able to reach you. And you're able to reach us in case you're going to help someone who needs help and you need a hand with something. So we're continuing to work on that, but it is a federal program and it is now a state program. Governor Abbott was reviewing the program a couple of weeks before. Hurricane Harvey hit, communication went wiped out. He signed as soon as he could, because he had that personal experience to where the folks who needed to could not communicate in Texas. So now this program is being rolled out, and cities, are, as they can get to them, are following that program as well, because it's one of the true things that totally make sense. Because these cell phones, we're definitely dependent on them, but in emergencies, if everybody's making calls, checking on friends, family across the country, it shut everybody down. And that's just what happened with 9/11. It's happened in Los Angeles with earthquakes and other major situations as well. So we're just trying to make sure we're lined up and in touch with our communications network that works, and to have everyone on there who reasonably can and wants to be. So we'll be getting more information to you and more details to council so that they can make decisions as well on to how those things work. And we're gonna have a public meeting on it, inviting everybody out, so you can ask your questions and see how it might relate to your phone situation or the whole first responder program. Chief, anything else you wanted to share along that? Chief Bordeaux, either one of you? Go ahead.
No, we'll start, we have some more SART teams that's gonna be forming. Chief has already brought out the first one. And what these responders will do, we will put those people on FirstNet, and those people will also get those calls. But the main reason for us is to be able to get in touch with people like TranStar and other agencies that we may need. This FirstNet is a line that will never go down. And so that's what's the beauty of it when you come. Last time when Harvey came, it was a lot of water. We didn't lose much phone, your cables or lights this time, but you never know with each hurricane and with each storm. So FirstNet was kind of created for that purpose. And as we roll it out, we've already put the first set out. As we roll it out, we'll be putting those tiers together where we'll put people on those tiers.
I have a question in reference. Are we still in public work, public administration? Mr. Mayor? Are we still in administration, Ms. Dickey? My question is for Ms. Dickey. We had voted last meeting to extend the proposals for the city attorneys. Can you give us an update on that?
As of 5:30 when I came in here, the only proposals we had received were the 5 that we received initially. I have not received any more.
Okay. And so we opened it up, we did everything we needed to do.
Yes.
The other question,
Today at 4 was the deadline.
right.
So we haven't received any more prior to
So what's
4.
gonna be our profits moving forward? So what's the?
We were going to invite them to the next city council meeting to do a presentation,
So, yep. So October,
the 8th.
they'll be
They
on
will
the
come and
agenda.
do a presentation. We will invite all 5. If they all 5 come, great. If they don't, then I'm sure they'll send a representative or send their information. I would like to get that out in email if I can get y'all to say okay to that, because it's a lot of information, and I'd prefer to scan it and send it to you guys in email so that you can take a look at it at your leisure, if that's okay, so you'll be prepared to ask questions next council meeting.
My only question is that we receive it prior to the Friday before the weekend.
Absolutely, I can get it to you tomorrow, that's no problem. I just wanted to make sure that y'all were okay with getting it in email, because it's gonna be a lot of information.
The second thing, in public administration, we approved LJA Engineering moving forward with the bid process.
Correct?
I'm still waiting on council for the RFP. Do we have that yet?
The RFP for,
Do we have the RFP for that?
we had already done the RFP for LGA.
Right, and we asked at the last meeting, we simply asked that you email it to us.
Okay,
Because we don't have it,
okay,
and so we just simply asking to get it back.
okay. So you want the ad that we
No,
sent out, or
the-
just the,
The RFP,
Okay.
whatever the company's got to bid on the work is the RFP. That's what we want. The next administration, we had approved the Veritas. Well, it was on the agenda. We said we were going to do something with that. Do we have a report on where we at? Are we?
right, we did gather together all the information in those 3 documents that we voted on before. Unfortunately, the judge was out today. I was gonna kind of talk to her and see about getting what we think the best way to get that on the website is. If we want to put a button there, do we want to put text where people click on the text, those kind of things. She's our, as you know, our webmaster. So I've got to get with her to so we can design that and where it needs to go on our web pages. Does it need to go on the first page, in departments, in building permit? Those kind of issues are yet to be worked out, but we are working on it and moving forward.
Do you know when we'll have the applications, or do you know when we'll be using the application? Do we have
We're already using the paper application, but.
that we approved? We're using the paper application we approved.
Yes, we've been using that. We've been using that paper application, but
No. Are we using, there was 3 documents that we approved,
yes,
and we adopted those documents. When is the office gonna start to use it? And you're saying they're using it now?
yeah, we've been using those documents.
How long ago has it been? Like, what's the time period upon that?
I'll have to ask Ms. Cortez, but we have been using those documents.
What you're saying is, it's the same documents that,
That we've
We
been
already
giving
have.
people, like if they came in and asked for a permit, that's what they filled out.
we'll take a look to confirm that. Because I remember a part of the motion that was passed had to do with us following the policy that Veritas follows with other cities. And because we are one of those other cities, we may have already been doing it, but we'll confirm that
Okay.
with the information from 2 weeks ago, with what we put up front, just to be sure. And, yes.
The second thing is, we were gonna adopt 2 other policies. Do you know when that'll be? We adopted the commercial, we were supposed to do residential. Do you know when we're gonna do that?
Do we have a residential? Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't in the 3 documents. I'm saying, so we just need to put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was, we approved, well, we didn't approve, we had the interlocal agreement on the agenda. There was some information that needed to come from the mayor and administration. Do you have an update for us?
Yes, the city attorney is reviewing it, and also checking with a couple of the other cities in the county that they're familiar with, because there seems to be some discrepancy as to who voted to adopt that, because it's a major, what it is, it's a major change from the county, and because we all pay county taxes, what we're looking at is the county is looking to phase out their assistance, if you will, with helping the city with various projects, roads, interlocal agreement, basically working together. I believe this is the year where it went down 25%, and then it goes down next year to 50%. In other words, the cost share. And then in about 4 or 5 years, whatever that is, the county's out of it, and the cities have to fix all of their roads unto themselves. And some of us have some issue and concerns about that. If you're not going to cut my taxes, but you're gonna cut the services you're providing, that doesn't match up. So